What's going on? So in this video, I'm going to be walking you through my December 2024 and moving into 2025 Meta industry report, the things that I see coming to Instagram specifically, but also Facebook and Meta in general, the biggest updates that I see coming out. And who am I to kind of walk you through this? Well, I own a few different software companies. I own Social Climb, which does mass Instagram automations to basically help you grow your account. I own Repost Rocket, which is a done-for-you theme page automator. I also own some other software behind the scenes that I can't necessarily talk about that we're working on building right now. And you know, I've scaled up some of the biggest Instagram influencers that you probably know. So you know, that's kind of what I know behind the scenes. I'm very, very involved in the Meta space. I have multiple Meta reps who I am in contact with on a pretty much weekly basis, if not some of them on like even more of a daily basis, whether it's from getting people unbanned or that kind of thing. I do have reps that I'm in contact with consistently to be able to basically help people get unbanned and whatnot. And so I'm very, very involved in the space. I've spent a lot of money on ads, done a lot in the space in Instagram, so I'm very, very familiar with it. And I get a lot of updates before the general public does, right? The people who are not studying Instagram every day just don't know the same things that I know, and that's not to brag. That is, for reference, full transparency. I definitely have more knowledge than the average person does in this specific industry and sector because I am so involved in it. So I'm going to be kind of walking you through the major updates for marketing and for anything as it involves Instagram, and that's kind of what I'm going to be going over in this video, right? So let's just jump right into my screen. First things first, with Meta. Right now, Meta is taking up a huge market share. It's taken up around 77% of the industry, so Meta definitely has a monopoly on the entire industry, and this includes TikTok. So Meta is taking a huge, huge chunk out of it from TikTok, and TikTok is pushing out their TikTok shop videos, so they're working on monetizing right now, and so they're pulling people out of the platform because of that. Right, so Meta has a 77% market share. This is estimated, obviously. It's not really like a way to calculate this 100%, but this is kind of the estimated market share right now, according to sources that I have on Google. Now, let's look at stock prices, and you might be wondering, oh, I don't care about stock prices, and you might be tempted to click off, but this is very important. You can see the growth rate of this company. If we look at the annual growth rate, they have grown 77% in the past year, right? You can look at where they were like a year ago to a year now, and this is year to date, and then this is also month to date, and again, this is recorded on December 4th, December 4th, 2024. So yeah, this is kind of, some of the data that you can see here. As you can see, why is this important? Well, the company is still rapidly growing. They're outperforming every other competitor right now in the way of stock prices, right? And this really shows us a lot. A, they have a lot more money to invest. B, they're less scarce in their resources. They're more abundant, and so they're willing to do different things that may or may not be a good idea, and they're willing to try more things out. And obviously, they're also, doing a lot of innovation and whatnot since they hold such a big market share, right? So Meta, I believe, is the 9th or 10th biggest company. I don't know off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure it's the 9th or the 10th biggest company in the world right now, and this is kind of what their performance looks like right now. So biggest new updates to Instagram as the platform goes on. Number one is the notes section. If you've seen on your Instagram, and let me just pull it up really quick just so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. Might have to cover my screen here in a second. Instagram's taking like mad long to load. Let me pause this. All right, so if you can see the notes section here at the top of my screen, right? You see those notes, right? And those notes are super, super important right now because they are going to be a big factor in next year's, right? Right now, super low leverage, doesn't really matter, not putting any attention to it. Over the next coming year, they are planning to put a lot of attention into these notes. Don't know why, but they're taking them from just being available in that DMs tab to now being available on videos specifically as well in your comments. So they're for mutual contacts. If you follow someone and they follow you back, you can now leave a note on a post, on any post, but those people are the ones that can see it, those mutuals, right? My thoughts, low-key pointless right now, but they're going into it a lot more. Now, Meta AI is something that Meta is really pushing out with AI, it's a buzzword right now, but they're really pushing out AI updates, and we've seen a lot of different posts about this. This was back in September, on, let's see, 25th of September. They basically started out with Meta AI. They added in like photo editing with Meta AI. There's a lot of different features that I didn't even know that it could do. You can generate story backgrounds with Meta AI. Translation. I'm pretty sure they actually got rid of the generate story backgrounds. I could be wrong, but all of this stuff is very, very simplistic things that most AIs can do. ChatGPT can do it, Claude can do it, Perplexity can do it, pretty much all those things. The biggest thing that they're doing with their AI is trying to compete with TikTok AI, which TikTok AI actually came out a few days after Meta AI. TikTok AI made a very, very rapid change in their AI on search to be able to compete with Meta AI, right? So let me look something up real quick. So here's a stat. I remember seeing this somewhere, but according to eMarketer, 64% of Gen Z uses TikTok for information and for search, and 2 in 5 Americans use TikTok as their search engine, right? So TikTok is becoming a search engine. Just like Google is now adding in this AI overview piece here, so is TikTok, so is Meta. They're all pushing this out with the AI overviews, right? And it's super useful. But TikTok's doing the same thing right now as well, and they're pushing that out. And so Instagram's trying to compete with their Meta AI. So this is one of those things that's becoming very, very important right now to be able to rank under those search terms, because people are using search now more than ever. TikTok search is actually really, really good. The other day I had a product that I had ordered, and I was trying to figure out how to use it, right? I was trying to figure out how to set it or set it up. And I could even talk about this. My watch, I got it, and then the dude set the time on it, but it turned out there was a time change, and I had to reset the time on it. So I had to figure out how, on this watch specifically, do I reset it. And this is a Submariner. I've had to figure out how to reset the time on it. Couldn't figure it out for the life of me. I Googled it. It was kind of confusing on the search results, and then I remembered, hey, I should just look it up on TikTok. There was a 30-second video that walked me through everything that I needed to know, and short, condensed videos that walk through a lot of information and are super, super value-packed, or tutorials, are doing very, very well on not just TikTok, but also Reels right now, and also carousel posts. Carousel posts are going to be making a huge comeback as we go into 2025 as well. But that's kind of one of the biggest things that Meta AI is doing right now. Right now, Meta AI is not super useful, but it will become more useful as they learn how the consumer uses it. So it's very new still. Again, it's only been out since September. They're still testing it out in certain features and certain things, but it is becoming more and more used. Also, Twitter AI is kind of competing with that. I think it's Grok or Gronk or something like that. Twitter AI is actually pretty decent for looking at current events, and I think that's what Meta is trying to compete with from my sources and what I've been told. But yeah, next feature is audio tracks. So now we can add multiple audio tracks to a reel, upwards of 20 audio tracks actually. Don't know why or who's actually going to use this feature, but it is a new feature. So if you want to add in multiple audio tracks inside of the Instagram built-in integrated editor, you can now do that if you desire to. Again, it's one of those features that's okay, this is kind of pointless, but it is a new feature, so I just figured I'd throw it in here. Now, broadcast channels. We've been utilizing broadcast channels or testing them out in certain CTAs and certain things for our clients who are our bigger influencer consulting clients. And broadcast channels are super, super, super underwhelming right now. The engagement is shit. No one actually checks them. They're actually hidden on the DMs. They're not even in the main menu. If I pull up the main menu here, they're not even in the main menu. It's general or primary general from ads and then requests. And you have to scroll over to get to your broadcast channels. They still show up as notifications, but these broadcast channels are not actually that useful. I don't ever check them. But they still count as a notification. So it just confuses me. But broadcast channels will become a lot more user-friendly, a lot more useful for CTAs. There are some new updates to broadcast channels that just came out literally 45 minutes ago as I'm recording this. But new channel features, now you are able to reply inside of a broadcast channel, right? It's like sending out right now broadcast channels are like a WhatsApp group chat, but only you can respond, or like a iMessage group chat, but only one person is sending text. Now you're able to reply under certain messages and actually get a lot better engagement on those broadcast channels, which, again, more engagement in one place leads to more engagement in every place. That's the rule of Instagram. That's how you use Instagram. If you can get engagement in one spot, it will boost your engagement across the entire algorithm, and that's, will generally boost your chances of actually getting pushed out to the, to the public pages and get pushed out in the algorithm. Right? So now you can reply. You can also change a lot in the channels. You can see channel controls are now changing. So you can obviously turn that on or off. I recommend you have it on. You can also use prompts. So the same thing that you can do on stories where you can put up polls and that kind of thing. You can also put up prompts now inside of your Instagram broadcast channels. They used to have prompts, or they just added prompts earlier this year, maybe at the end of last year, to see that for an actual story, to have prompts on there, but now they're adding it in there as well. And again, there's going to be a lot more metric tracking for this as well, which is always a good thing. More tracking, the more tracking, the less slacking we got to do as creators. So now people can respond in channels. You'll also, a newer update as well, is you'll be able to tag those broadcast channels inside of your videos so you can build that broadcast channel. I think what Instagram's trying to do here, I could be wrong, is try to replace email lists. Don't think that's going to be super effective. I still recommend building an email list because if you're using broadcast channels, they don't really work that well right now. They're not really that effective. So would still recommend building an email list, getting people off platform as much as possible. But that is neither here nor there. DM requests. So DMs are about to be cooked. IG outreach is basically over. There's no use for IG outreach anymore. It's ass, doesn't really work, and it hasn't worked in a while, but now it is officially cooked. We have new features for scam protection on any sort of hidden words. So basically, everyone's going to get flagged as spam, which is a folder inside of requests, inside of hidden requests. So now instead of them just having to check their request, which I rarely even check my request, you now have to go to requests, then hidden request, then spam. So if you're sending out a lot of messages and you're sending out a lot, it's going to put you in hidden request inside of another folder called spam, where basically you're never going to be seen. So outreach is basically over now on Instagram. It's very, very bad already. It's been bad for a long time, but now it's basically over. And there's a lot of different things that are just completely ruined inside of that. So again, that's why you got to build your email list. I've been saying this for a long time. It's why you also have to have other off-platform outreach methods. And outreach, again, is a super complex thing. It's simple, but it's also complex, right? If you want to actually optimize your outreach, you have to really have a solid system and a solid team behind you. You can't just go into it and not know anything. So that's a huge, huge point on that side that I could make, is that outreach is just cooked. So yeah, guidelines, violations, bans. Instagram is becoming super, super harsh right now in Q4 on guideline violations, bans, everything like that. New general rules of thumb. 1, you need to have 2-factor authentication on your account. Super, super important. They are going to start really cracking down on accounts that don't have 2FA on. And it's going to become mandatory as we move into the new year pretty soon. So 2FA is a must. Have it on now. Protect your account. And also protect your reputation score, your trust score on Instagram. Accounts with 2FA will get pushed to the algorithm more. It's general fact that most people don't even think about, but everything on Instagram is built around your trust score, right? You have a trust score that can be affected. If you're sending a lot of outreach, you're going to lower your trust score. If you're doing mass outreach, you're going to lower your trust score. The way that you have to really, if you're automating anything in general, the way that you have to do it is you have to build your automation around that trust score so it's not actually affecting it, right? So that's the biggest thing right now on Instagram is trust score. If you are having a low trust score, you're going to get banned. I've seen a lot of bans happening over the past month, a lot. And that's, again, if something happens and you're getting banned, you can always hit me up. I can, work some magic behind the scenes, if you know what I mean. But right now, bans are becoming a lot more harsh. I seen a guy yesterday, one of our clients, he actually had another person create an account on a legacy Instagram account. He bought a legacy Instagram account, created an account of this dude, basically impersonating him, and then reported him. This dude had 80,000 followers. The other legacy account had I don't know how many followers, but less than 80,000. Obviously didn't have 80,000 followers on it. And he was still able to get that other dude banned because it was a legacy account. Obviously, got it unbanned, so it's not that big of a deal. Got it unbanned in like less than a day, so not that big of a deal. But if you are, looking at that, you need to be thinking in every facet, how can I avoid getting banned, right? Because these bans are not like something to play with. They are serious, and they cost money to get unbanned, right? So that's a big, big thing. Another thing is actually taking place today, API depreciations for non-business and creator accounts. So if you just have a regular account, you are no longer going to be able to access the Meta API. This went into effect, they announced it 2 days ago, and now it is in effect officially on December 4th, 2024. So if you use Make.com, use Zapier, use any of that stuff, your APIs are going to become depreciated today. If you're watching this, they've probably already been depreciated. So go switch your connections over to Meta for Business, and you're going to have to link those business accounts or those creator accounts back into your softwares. Also, another side note, Twitter did the exact same thing today. Twitter's API is now done with schedulers. No more schedulers on Twitter. You have to schedule inside of the app. And so for safety reasons, that's what that's what Twitter/X/whatever you want to call it did. And Meta is following suit, and they are doing the exact same thing right now. So you need to be prepared on that side. Using external schedulers, not the move. Try to use the Meta internal scheduler. That's going to be your best bet as of right now. So you can go to Meta Business Suite, schedule your posts there. Don't try to use something external. All right, stories. Stories are huge. Comments are here on stories right now. They are in beta, so some people have them, some people don't. On my account, I still don't have them, but on like my theme pages, on like my business partner's account, he has those. So kind of one of those things where story comments are being pushed out and split tested right now to test the efficacy of them. So that's kind of where we're at with story comments. Going to be a huge feature where you're not just able to swipe up and DM the creator, but you're able to swipe up and comment on that story post, and other people can see it as well. So that's huge. Another thing, easy thing, new fonts are here right now. And obviously, as Instagram pushes out new features, general rule of thumb, when something's new, use it, right? When Reels came out, that was Reels and TikTok coming out, those were probably the two biggest marketing opportunities of our time. So you need to be looking for new opportunities, right? That is story comments. That is new fonts. And that's, the stories are somewhere where Instagram is focusing a lot of their attention because they're able to make a lot of money off of stories, and it's the number one place that people scroll right now. So that is one thing that you really need to look out for is stories. Another easy way to boost your stories is by using like close friends mass adders like Social Climb, my company. You can get it in the description, or also Hyper Story Viewing. Hyper Story Viewing, I'm not going to lie, is going to be spam protected. So obviously, if you're spamming out a lot of it, you might get sent to hidden requests. So you're probably not going to be able to get as big of accounts with Hyper Story Viewing right now, and that's just completely honesty and complete transparency. But if you're doing enough quantity and if you're targeted in your target market, you will still be able to get high quality people on story views and from mass looking and mass liking on stories. Liking on stories is not as scam protected. So that's just one quick note there on Hyper Story Viewing. Instagram grids. Instagram grids are changing in 2025. We're going to see more of that explore page style grid where we have some ones that are not necessarily square anymore, but now they're vertical and they take up basically two squares at once. We're going to see that as we go into 2025. Grids, they're already testing it in like an alpha phase with certain people. They're testing it out on just like the view side. So it's going to look similar to the Reels tab now. So just get prepared for that. Instagram Friends Maps. So if you know Snap Map on like Snapchat, that is a big thing that I've always said is like just not the move. I think it's kind of creepy personally. I don't like to put my location out there. It's very dangerous. You never know who's looking at that location. And like, I don't even post my stories. Whenever I'm posting a story, I usually post it 30 minutes to an hour after where I'm at. So if I'm at a bagel shop and I go to get a bagel, I'm not going to post up that I'm at the bagel shop. I'm going to wait until I get home and then post it up, or wait till the next day. I like to get my stories like a day in advance and just capture photos throughout the day. I'm not usually posting up when I am somewhere, and that's for safety reasons. But Instagram is going to be testing out their Friends Map feature, which is basically going to be similar to Snap Map. This is like super low key on the down low right now. Haven't really heard anyone talking about it publicly. Maybe there are people, but haven't really heard that many people talking about it publicly right now. But this is something that they are going to be pushing out or attempting to push out. I genuinely don't think it's going to last very long. I don't think it's very safe, especially when you look at like big creators and that kind of thing. You really don't want to be sharing your location. Snapchat's a lot more intimate. Instagram is just not. It's not the platform for that, in my personal opinion. Maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. Don't know what they'll come up with, but that is just my thoughts on this whole thing with Friends Maps. Last thing to talk about here, super likes. They are coming to Instagram just like they are on pretty much every platform. Twitter doesn't have one. TikTok has one secretly that they haven't really ever pushed out, or they don't actually like reward the users for it, but it does impact the engagement of the video. So if you just like spam like on TikTok, it will count it as a super like more than if you just like the post once. They're just scored differently, right? So that is kind of one thing that is coming to Instagram, and they're talking about doing one per day. So you get one super like that you get to use on one post per day that counts as like a lot of engagement for that post and can help blow up that post a lot more. So if you're getting a lot of super likes, you're going to basically be able to blow up more, I think. I don't know if that's actually what the efficacy of that's going to be, but it is something that's coming to Instagram very, very shortly. And again, TikTok already has this feature, but right now TikTok doesn't reward the user. So if Instagram can master this, they will push this out. It's going to be something that's similar to like on Tinder, you can super like someone, or on a dating app. They are trying to push it away from dating though, and away from anything sexual or anything intimate. So they're kind of still trying to figure out how to use this behind the scenes. But again, in this video, I kind of went over all the different things. If you want this exact industry report, I'm going to leave a link right down in the description so you can go and get it there. Other than that, if you want access to my software companies or anything like that, if you have any questions for me, just feel free to hit me up below. And also, if for some reason you need an unban or something like that, you can always just text me. You can send me a message on Instagram, on WhatsApp, or just to my personal cell. That is my cell right there, 704-998-8564, and that will go to my personal cell. So if you have a question or you need an unban or something like that, just feel free to shoot me a text, and I'll be happy to help you out. So yeah, without further ado, I really do appreciate it. And if you have any other questions, comments, concerns, anything like that, just go ahead and leave me a comment. But otherwise, I will see you in the next one. Peace.